Right, so I'm recording, so that's good. Yeah, Helen's not joined yet, so um, she did ask. I'm just gonna read her questions out. I was wondering if you had missed a reversal shot, change of character, would you try and get in after a break of structure and wait for a pullback? I'm assuming that when she says break of structure, uh, let me go find some different chart that's a bit cleaner. Maybe this one. Yeah, this is much cleaner. So obviously, I'm assuming she means by breaker structure, she means this point here is because it's a continuation of obviously this is my higher time frame, so 4 hour. I'm assuming she means that once it breaker structure. So obviously there'd have been a move down here. Obviously, I've got something marked up there. That might have been the actual entry or whatever. But if I'm assuming she means there'll be a change of character somewhere in here on a lower time frame. If you miss that move, I'm assuming she means that once it takes does the breaker structure, then would you get in on the pullback? So the answer is yes. So this is one of the obviously I'll cover reasons why I would mark this up as a point of interest always. Anyway, um, so obviously there's something in here. Obviously, if I just extend that break line there, so obviously it goes above that vertical line there with that one of these candles here. So something from this low, obviously it could be lower as well, but obviously there's a bit of a pullback before obviously orders reaccumulated before it then takes the continuation high because obviously it's bullish. Um, Obviously at some point it looks like it creates liquidity as well. I didn't spot that. Um, Over that there. Um, so yeah, at some point, obviously, it continues up and it eventually comes back to the pretty much probably the order or orders or order block, supply or demand zone, depending on how you mark it and what you want to call it. They're all about the same thing. For me, it's all about the important imbalance. So obviously, you want the zone to be marked large enough that price comes to it, and not so tight that it just misses. So the the telltale of that would be probably a lower time frame imbalance. But yeah, so when it goes away and obviously eventually comes back, then this is I'm assuming what she means when he says obviously it pulls back and then again obviously because obviously a lot of it's to do with structure. So 4 hours bullish on that. We pull back, which will be a good 15 minute, couple of 15-minute swings in there. We've got a pull back, 15-minute high, 15-minute low. Probably takes the 15-minute high, but I've got it marked as the 1 minute here, so it could well be the same structure, 15 and 1, because it just looks to be a continual sort of decline in price. So obviously it comes back, taps a point of interest, the order block that causes the breaker structure. Obviously it's created liquidity as well and swept it, and then we start seeing breaks on a lower time frame. So 4 hour structure, we want at least as a minimum 1 minute breaker structure. This is the one and 15, but ideally you'd wait for the 15, and then when it comes back, you'd maybe get the one then, which is what I thought this might have been here. But yeah, very much so. If you miss the initial move, say down here. Obviously, this is it's a higher time frame, so this would have taken a long time to play out. But it's the same principle on, say, if you miss the 15-minute change of character. Um, Let me find something on the 15 that's total go to gold. I think there'll be a few good 15-minute swings in there. That is not a pretty one. um, so yes, there's not probably not the best example actually, but probably is here. So it's exactly the same again here. So we've got a major high here. We've got this 4 hour. We've got this structure here drawn. Order block that causes the break. Obviously, there's imbalance above the zone, and then obviously it leads to taking this major high here. Make a structure. And then in here, obviously I've got a 1 minute high marked. So it taps into the zone, breaks on the 1 minute, comes back, taps an entry, goes. If you miss this one, because this is the point of it, so if you miss that entry there, then there's obviously it breaks the fifth what I've got marked as a 15-minute high here. So technically this could be an entry in there. So there'll be an imbalance in there, no doubt. I'm sort of I haven't checked obviously, but I'm assuming there will be an imbalance in there. It's tapped into that and then it's continued long after that. But one of the major things if you're going to do that is obviously this is a 15-minute. You're going to want to figure out where the 4 hour structure is because if you get in on say the fourth, fourth, fifth, 15-minute swing, you might be coming back to the end of the run of 15-minute swings. So Ellen's just joining now. She could watch that back. Yeah, so if you do catch the late entry or whatever, just be mindful that, like say, on this occasion we've got one. So there's a push, one, two, three big 15-minute swings. So if you get in on the second or third swing, you just be aware that Price didn't want to do that. Price might be wanting to actually start to reverse from a 4 hour swing. Just know that. So I think Ellen's joined now. So I've just gone over the change of character and breaker structure for you, Ellen. I'm recording, so you just get to watch that 5 or 10 minutes back tomorrow or at some point. Uh, just get to your other question. Also, my sell ideas the other day, you thought that gold hadn't finished going up. I was correct. What made me think this? So, if I remember rightly, think you had something like this as your low. Think Ellen had her lows here. Um, so the only the only thing that I was thinking about this was, and this is not easy for, it's not ideal, it's not easy, it's not anything good, but obviously I think it takes the all-time high again somewhere pretty much halfway, if not further up that leg, yeah. So Just draw a high on there. There. So obviously this it takes a high here. It's the price leading sort of up to it. I wasn't comfortable in saying that all these was, so I'd say that's a 1 minute high there, new low, takes the high there. I'll draw this out. Don't need it on screen, so I'm just going to turn off the magnet. So up to that point there, we're downtrending. This fails to take it, so that's the new high. So we get a change of character here with this news. I assume that is news. So we then start continuing bullish at that point. So low. And I'm not 100% sure like, and sold on these structures. It sort of meets the rules. So obviously the rules being that this would be the pullback now. Obviously it's the lowest point after the high is made, after it takes this high here. So that's the highest, lowest price action. High gets taken, its highest point, pulls back, highest point before after that was untaken, before the lowest price is put in. I think after that I'll jump all the way up here, pull back. Now we're on the 15, but this is what I would probably class as my one. So I'm not sure on here, but if, for example, if we just said that this is a clear high, so I'll just jump to that one there. High, low. And I thought this was the high from there because this is all, there's no real, not what I'd class as a pullback. So what I think I would say is obviously this is the low at the minute. So if we're going to continue 1 minute bullish, 15-minute bullish, 4 hour bullish, there's possibly a buy from somewhere down in this. I'd want to see confirmations of obviously another break at what price to come down, break to the upside of whatever sort of highs are formed at the time. But what I think I'm going to implement into my structure rules is that I think I'm going to introduce, so obviously just marking from this low to this high here, because this was the structure leg that threw you and wasn't the best for me to read either. So I think I'm going to sort of pretty much implement a 40 or 50% retracement to count as a valid structure. So obviously it goes beyond 50 because obviously the pullbacks from the high, 50% is here. It goes 60, 65, 60, 60, somewhere around there. So I'd class that as a valid pullback. I'd have to test the 40% pullback rate. Um, and I would say 40 because sometimes price, I'm sure I've seen it before, where price comes just less than the 50. So,
You
so
have data on stuff like that, Lee.
you what, sorry?
You have data on stuff like that. That's kind of data you collect and you go back through the charts and look for, yeah?
Yeah, like I say, I've not actually tested it properly, mate. It's just I know off
Yeah.
memory. I used to say like about 50%, but it's not something I've ever tested. It's just obviously I've tested a strategy and think and all that sort of jazz, but the actual structure, like things, I've not specifically just tested that on its own. Um,
Do
and
do you have big spreadsheets of data that you built when you were practicing and learning and working it out?
uh, I have somewhere, mate. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You just
yeah,
don't need it now because it's in your head, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't bother now. It's plus, obviously, me data and that is for me 4:15:1. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's not really relevant to sort of how I'm trading now. But I think it's important to do the journaling and things like that and data collection and all that jazz. And then once you get to a certain point, it's sort of irrelevant, I think, and you just become
Yeah.
good enough for it, I guess. I don't really know what words to
Oh,
use,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think implementing a minimum of 40% retracement's probably a good idea. But I'll probably only use it when price becomes difficult, like this. Um, yeah. So
38.2 is the Fibonacci a lot of people like to use, which is give or take 40%.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't believe in Fibonacci's, but that's what they use about that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It makes sense. And there was also, I know, obviously Ellen had a 1 minute under here. Um, there was also this imbalance under here that I had my eye on as well. So I always anticipated it was going to come here and then possibly reverse because I was unsure on the structure. That should be green anyway. Um, yeah, I always anticipated it coming here, and then with me being unsure on structure, I thought it's probably going to continue higher. Um, and I believe there's possibly liquidity. This might be a good trend line. I can't remember when I marked it, to be fair. So the imbalance it filled could well be the imbalance for this sort of setup. So no, I must be trying to mark some up for someone else. Not good enough for my liking. I'm not saying there's nothing there, like, but yeah, equal highs, I think. Equal lows, sorry. Maybe not. No, not having that. Not having it.
We don't want that rubbish.
Yeah,
We don't want that crap.
yeah, it does.
We're better than that.
Yeah, we are far better than that. But yeah, I view this as sort of just sideways stuff, and like I say, I think that the lows here because it's more of a significant pullback. But again, I mean, I don't think that meets the requirement of the 40% pullback. But
It's nowhere near.
no, it's
All right, it's 30. Yeah.
yeah,
30,
35.
35 to be fair. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be fair, I don't know why I'd class that and not that one. It's yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I thought that was a low. That was a high. That was the hang on, no, bar replay down. I'm not even at the same place. Yeah, ignore that last bit. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I'd do class that as a low, but I don't know why I'd class that. Yeah, it's much more of a pullback in it. So
Yeah, that's the
yeah, that's about 50% in it, I think. There, give or take. Yeah, it's 50%, just over 50 there. So yeah, it's sort of I think it's a good rule to introduce. It's not something I've ever like thought about adding before up until Ellen asked me that earlier. Because like I said, I've never really been able to explain why I would discount this, but yeah, that addition of that rule is probably a good addition. Um, so yeah, that's them two questions answered. I've got a message. Bear with me a sec. making food. Um, is there any other questions, guys?
Do you reckon 4K is a realistic target for some sort of for its next stop?
Uh,
That seem like whole numbers and things like that, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it'll reach there eventually, mate. I don't know. I couldn't tell you when, but
Just got to keep trying to read it too.
yeah. I mean, on its current trajectory, I think if you was to sort of say it's generally heading in about that sort of angle, mate. So
So do you reckon we could see the indices start to drop now?
that is a good question, mate, because I don't. Uh, that is a good
It
question.
looks like money finding a new home, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, they're not oppositely correlated though, are they? Or are they?
Well, it's just like it's the
Not
same place,
necessarily,
isn't it?
no. Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. So,
Yeah,
um, no, I don't think they are.
no, no, they're not oppositely. I mean, they're both going like obviously bullish, mega bullish. So
They're both assets.
yeah, obviously some
And
will some will be um safer for certain reasons than others, I guess. But they're both extremely bullish. So
Yeah, I was
yeah,
quite surprised at that. I thought you would have seen one go the other way.
yeah. Well, what I imagine it actually is um. It's not something I actually know the definite answer to, but obviously, if you was a major investor, obviously you're just trying to put your money into what you believe is going to grow the fastest. So, um, yeah, so
There's got
obviously,
to be a bit
obviously,
of protectionism going on as well, hasn't there? Surely.
yeah, so gold's generally seen as a safe bet, and
Yeah.
obviously because he's obviously US 30 and the 101, 500 are all obviously a lot of companies in them, and they say year on year that the S&P does on average is it 10% a year or something. So I mean that's
They
just
say,
so they're both considered safe assets over a longer period of time. So yeah, I imagine they'll both continue up. Um, I suppose that the gold, if the dollar goes down, gold will maybe go up higher than the others, maybe. But
yeah, yeah,
so then obviously you need to start thinking about the Dixie. So,
yeah.
but I mean I don't know if that's actually true. That what I just said anyway. I don't know. I believe it.
Well,
I believe it will because
looks like Dixie's starting to drop, doesn't it? So,
yeah, it's been on its ass for since an orange chap took over. So
there's big unemployment data starting to come out of America.
yeah,
There's risk on and risk off. Basically, investors, the big investment funds, are either feel risk on or not risk off.
yeah, yeah,
Risk
yeah,
risk off, they buy gold and the major indices
yeah,
because they don't feel safe. Risk off, hang on. Risk on is when they're prepared to take risks on getting a
yeah,
higher return on stuff like Bitcoin or the tech
yeah,
stocks or whatever.
yeah,
So I would say to a degree the major indices probably correlate with gold a bit more than they reverse correlate with it.
yeah, yeah. I was going to say on the sort of like the daily, it looks like it's possibly still a bit bullish because we've got a low, high, low, higher, low, high, high, but it's pulling back. But on the weekly, it's bearish, so I don't know where it's gonna.
mm,
Yeah,
possible change of character.
yeah. I mean, this isn't nice to look for as a
Everything
pro
seems to be stuck in like a 4 hour
range.
consolidation at the moment, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. It's definitely heading down for now. I think if like I think obviously what I covered earlier on is obviously there's high there. This is what likely. I mean, you can trade the Dixie, but Yeah, there's obviously mitigates that, takes a high, change character, that push up, comes back, and then goes about its thing. So the dollar's moving like a tradable chart anyway. Yeah, I just don't know where it's going from here because this is obviously if obviously I've just said obviously it's making possible high highs, high lows on the daily, which is what we're on at the minute. Like I said, this sort of order blocks around here would be ones that I'd want it to be take a buy from to maybe make a new high, or I'd want it to come really low, somewhere down here maybe, for then obviously a new buy. But because it's the weekly is actually, like I say, really bearish. Um, Once it gets down here, it's obviously danger territory, I think. I'm saying that, like I say, it could mitigate anything in here and continue its, like I say, its bullish trend. What would decide it, I suppose, would be is what this has mitigated. Obviously, it's tapped something in here, whatever this wick up is there. Just if it's going to make new lows now, it's just if that's the order block that started all these breaks and things. Obviously, this one takes this low, so there is a structure going on here. Right, this low doesn't take the low or the high, so this is all irrelevant because it's internal. Obviously, this doesn't take the high there, so what we do is we go because obviously this is the low, this is the high. So what's this is only this current leg that I'm trying to draw now is only confirmed once it takes the high or the low. So puts in a low. I'll just change that color. Yep, so change it under here. Like I say, all this price action here is internal. Just do that, see? Yeah, that's internal. With structure wise, it's internal. So the highs there, lows there, then breaks it here.
Yeah.
So there is a real possibility that whatever that is, obviously on the weekly, it'll be able to be refined down. So that could well be the order block that obviously taps it there. And we've started seeing some form of breaks to the downside. Same again, obviously, something in here obviously because all this is trending upwards to that point, so it mitigates that. We start seeing more signs to downside. Once that mitigates, what would possibly be an entry zone, or you know, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely dollars definitely down. I just don't know how far. I don't know where. But like I say, because we've got this. Okay, let's do this properly. We get a pullback there. So pullback low. This is the structure here. Again, because all this in here doesn't take the high, so we go to the next high that does. So this one here, pull back. So what it's doing now is, while it might obviously it's on a smaller time frame, it's possibly relevant. Obviously you could, like I say, it's mitigated this order block here, filled in imbalances here that I've got marked. There's probably like a real lower time frame break to downside, so you could probably got a real nice entry on it for a sell. But like I say, this whatever's going on with this structure is technically still bullish. So there's nothing. Obviously, if it comes in here and mitigates something, whatever it is, it might do that. Obviously, it could also come and just do that. And if it does do that, then I would expect something like that. Yeah, I think down, at least down for a little bit. But what it does around these lows is what will determine what happens next. But like I say, we're on the weekly, and that is a long way away. So gold up for now, I imagine, for a bit more. But again, gold might pull back a lot as well.
I think we'll have a pullback Monday.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I say pull back, it means I'm sort of talking higher time frame. So if let me, I need to delete some of these. So let me just do this one. So
Left a lot of open supplies, doesn't it?
yeah, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on here, but obviously, if you look at this purple structure, so that's either me 4 hour or daily, obviously, however you want to. The number on it don't really matter as long as you identify what sort of not time frame it is, but there's levels of structure. So obviously, you could just say like there's a medium, lower, and high. I relate them to 1 minute, 15 minute, 4, and daily. So, um, yeah. So, what's one of the things with obviously structure is obviously this is an overall low on this whatever time frame you want to class this at. Um, it's taken the high obviously last week. So this might well once it's taken the high, then obviously there's no previous data to suggest where it's going to turn back from because there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's the overall
Yeah.
high, but what we
So
sort of
it could
like,
just carry on going, couldn't it?
yeah, it could carry on for a while. It might do it Monday. There's no way of me like knowing where it's going to do it from here, but like because it's taken the high, we should really be maybe thinking about a pullback at some point. So what will
Would you
inevitably,
jump in on a 15-minute breaker structure?
yes. So that's what I was going to say. So uh, what I would like to see is obviously so I've drawn these sort of structures here for what we covered earlier. So at the very minimum, Mondays I'd want to say this low now broken, this one here.
Yeah.
That as a very minimum. So I want to see something like that. uh,
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for Monday.
yeah, obviously because this is obviously possibly the new 4 hour or daily high where we currently are. So we might well see a real deep retracement to something like that. Obviously over 50%. Um, and then do that. So if that's the 4 hour or daily structure that might happen, then we're gonna we're gonna see like a 15-minute structure do that's gonna look something like that instead.
Yeah.
So there'll be first will come the 1 minute break to the downside. After that will be a 15-minute break, and then after that will be obviously the 4 hour low. If it's going to stay bullish, we're not going to see a 4 hour break, obviously, but yeah, the 1 minute will do it first, and then the 15 will do that. But at the minute, Matt, I don't know where that 15 is because it's like I say, it's just one big push. So
I bet it happened about 4 o'clock this morning.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, um even if we see like a 15-minute break or whatever, then it don't really matter because
Yeah, yeah.
if the 15-minute breaks, so let me just zoom in on this.
I think you're better off with a higher time frame confirmation anyway, really, aren't you?
Yeah, so let's say price does this and it does break a 15-minute low. Let's just say this is a 15-minute low here. I'll draw a line on it. Right, let's say that's a 15-minute low. So here we get a break to the downside.
Yeah.
So we've got all of this price action here, which might take a couple 2 or 3 days in reality. Um, and then what I would expect to see on that is price is going to trend up on the 1 minute. So I mean, this is a terrible structure, but you
We haven't
sort
got any news Monday or Tuesday, have we? So I think it's been pretty quiet.
of have no idea, mate. I don't really check it, so yeah, it's not something I really pay attention to, which is terrible advice, but
Uh,
it is what it
well,
is.
there'll be a few more people in that market, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I mean, because because I believe that structure is like one of the main components of the market, so I can never tell you that a structure's definitely going to like hold or whatever, but it's a good indication.
I think it's a holy structure. It's a holy grail, really, isn't
Yeah, it really is. It absolutely
it?
is. And yeah,
And then,
it's
then the volatility gives you better times to trade it.
yeah. Well, obviously, like you say, structures. It's like I say, cheat code. It's the holy grail sort of thing. Obviously it's never 100%, but
Yeah.
it's as close as anything as you're going to get. And then we use like imbalance, obviously. So imbalance, the like liquidity. If you find like liquidity and imbalances, and obviously sweeps around these sort of areas where we really should be, then like it's really powerful. So I'll see if we find a good example. So here, so this is a really good example. So this is obviously higher time frame pullback there. First of all, we get a lower, well, this is my 15-minute breaker structure. We get it there. We get an even bigger confirmation with this high being taken here. So price takes it there from this lower here. Takes weeks to do, but then it comes back. It comes back. We get another break to the upside once it comes back down. Sorry, so breaks a major high, trends down. 15-minute trends down. Couple of structure swings. We then get a break to the upside again, and obviously it continues to does its thing. So you can get an entry off here, but for me, 4:15 setup, it comes right back deep into this. So there's liquidity here at this low. So
Yeah.
structure low, major structure swing low. Liquidity, it's taken liquidity, it's left imbalance, and then we're anticipating, obviously, because it's taken a major high earlier on. Like after that, you're sort of thinking, right? Well, I mean, I predicted all-time high again from this point here, um, which was a long time. Um, because I liked that order block and what it done. So I predicted, did it take it there? 109 days. Yeah, 109 days before it happened. I was thinking about all-time high, um, which is a shame because I actually missed that one by like 10 minutes. So, um, but yeah, and then obviously again purely because of structure, I was thinking all-time high around here. I was thinking all-time high from here. I was also thinking of all-time high from a couple of other places that didn't end up, that wouldn't have been kept in should I have caught them and held for all-time high. But just purely because of structure, I stood a good chance, as the best chance over anybody of catching an all-time high, just because I'm good at reading structure. And then like I say, if you had the liquidity.
I think it's been trying to disguise its structure very well.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely, yeah, yeah. So what threw me for a long time was this pullback here, because obviously that takes it, but technically that's internal. But I suppose what it's done is it's taken the major imbalances that's caused a pullback. So yeah, it's like I said, this threw me because I thought we could have had And I mean, this is still a valid structure anyway. So obviously, put it on a low time frame. There's a little low under here, so I was wondering if that's a like I say a 15-minute low there. We do have a structure going like this. So just turn my magnet off
What you
again.
see that as a change of character down there.
Yeah. So
That little low, yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
that's a pullback and retest.
and then we take it again anyway. So, but that threw in because it was a different structure. It threw in like a different dimension to what I was sort of like looking for. But again, as soon as that was taken, I was just all I was thinking is that's just like I say it would cause a pullback, which it did. But if it pulled back deep enough and for into an order block that I liked, then again it was game on to try and catch something for all time high. Um, and then it just so happens that, like say, me 4:15 setup appeared. I didn't catch it because I was a day late, or an hour, a few hours late. I think me and George was actually talking about it. Um, I think he had his breaker structure up here, and I thought it was down here for the last confirmation, and it looks like I was right. I'm assuming George could have well still caught an entry from this because he's a wizard, but again, I mean it's if you again, this is obviously a new structure low on the 15-minute after a pullback. Don't really do anything there, but we start to see bullish swings again anyway. So break above here, liquidity sweep, break to the upside, comes back and mitigates something in this, whatever this. And that's what I've drawn in it. Sorry, I was just sorry, yeah, no, sorry. So George's break structure was there, so it's come back and mitigated something in this swing. Obviously, it's created liquidity above what could have been his entry, and then obviously it does its own little 1 minute structure that I drew
Like
earlier.
little saying there with that, where you're saying that's mitigated, that's like touch to sell or buy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, I know is it science or not? I don't know, but it seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? It
yeah, yeah,
touches. But to me, there seems to be a lot of breaker block reactions recently.
yeah. It's not something I'm not very good with them, so
Yeah, I
I
find it a bit
can't.
scary.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think again, I ain't got data on it, so I can't give a definitive answer. Get out of my way, you. Where are you going? I can't give a definitive answer, but I think the early moves tend to give the breaker block entries. Um, and when I say early entries, I think so things like this one. So there's a low put in here. It sort of takes a house. There's a low, high, low. Yeah, low, high, low. Break to the upside just about here somewhere. And that looks like it's a breaker block entry here.
Yeah,
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 however you want to mark it. Um, something like that. So I think the early move is break a block, and then I think we eventually come when price comes back because it's obviously because this leg here causes a break to the upside. So just obviously it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen quick often, or straight away. But this is obviously, I mean, this does a couple of swings to the upside and then comes back to actually mitigate something really like low into what caused. Because obviously in this push up there'll be like four or five half decent looking order blocks and imbalances with imbalances above. But yeah, I think the actual main overall move tend to come from a bit lower in the swing low. And I definitely prefer the ones that pull back further because obviously here it's taken liquidity, it's broken to the upside. it's like if let's say there's five pieces of imbalance in this leg here. Like if it comes deep into this where this orange box is marked, because there's not much imbalance in this orange zone here. So the deeper it pulls back in a bullish structure, the better for me because I'm thinking, well, there's no lower time
Access
imbalance.
elimination, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, that's literally all it is. So it's taken all these imbalances that was up here. Like if there's one high up in this orange box, because obviously that's as low as it came, it's pretty much a few pips into the zone. If that's the lowest good looking imbalance, and then it fills that and gives you a break to the upside, like it's got pretty much you're almost 50-50 on the trade at that point because it's
Yeah.
either going higher or it's going lower. There's no
If
there's
it
no
goes
re
past it, I think the trade's invalid anyway, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if it takes you out, it's very unlikely that it's going to wick you out because there's nothing for it to come lower for unless
Yeah.
the overall
Yeah.
objective is to come lower, which you can deal with at that point. You was just wrong. It is what it is. You followed all your rules or whatever.
Do you ever
Yeah.
see any of them wicks, though? Some of them wicks as manipulation.
Yes and no. Yeah. I'm not too sure
I
how I
think I see
feel
it
about
more
it.
on JP pairs. They tend to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
You
not.
get a
I'm
lot
not.
of wicks that shouldn't really be wicked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. I'm 50-50 on how I feel about manipulation. So yeah, I'm not too convinced on it, mate. Because stuff moves fast, and it does. But I think stuff moves fast when the market almost knows where there's imbalance or liquidity to or like people's like orders. Well, I say orders, so that is technically manipulation. But yeah, I don't think it's a case of like the banks are sat there and like forcing price to.
But do you don't think they create a scenario like a where you're going to get buyers and sellers sitting around a certain area, and then
Well,
they're going to whip through both sides and then get the herd mentality, send it in one direction, get the herd mentality, chase it where it wants to be.
yeah, I don't know, mate. I think I think
Consolidations, like I mean,
yeah, well, what I think they actually do, mate, is what I think the objective is they create, like you say, create situations where people will get in early, and
yeah.
then because price moves quick around them areas, that's what we call manipulation. But whether it's someone sat there trying to take your money or whatever, I don't know. It's
But you don't believe in like the institutions trying to get an average price in.
uh
I mean, if you had like 500 million to put in the market and you started buying, the market starts going up, then all of a sudden your average price is rubbish, isn't it? So
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
be able to take a lot of stop losses, which basically is people selling to you at the price you want, isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not 100% sure, mate. I don't. Yeah, I'm just not convinced. I think because I suppose I don't really. I'm not a victim of manipulation, if you like, So I think if the banks was purely just after like say like fucking everyone over, like, I would be a victim of it as well. But whether whether the banks decide, let's say I've cracked the code and I know or figured out how to get in where all the big bankers do. They don't if they're doing that, if that's true, then they're not fucking each other over, but they're fucking everyone else over. But why wouldn't they fuck each other over? Because that's where the actual money would be.
Uh,
So yeah, I think they create conditions like say liquidity to convince people to get in early. But the overall objective, like, would always be that there's a little bit of imbalance in here that it wants to fill. So it's after the imbalance possibly and not the liquidity.
Maybe some order that didn't get filled, so I come back for it.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just yeah, that's what it is. But like I say, I think it creates conditions to get people in early. But
Yeah, but I
I,
mean,
I,
they are going to want to buy at an average price, though, aren't they? Get
yeah,
around it.
Well, I mean, average price is not something I'm clued up on, so I don't know. But like, I think because what was last? What was it? I posted something the other day, or last week, or week before. So I can take trades based on purely on structure, and if there's no liquidity taken, I mean, there probably is because like internal highs and lows technically count, but like this one makes sense to me because there's a nice trend line, there's a sweep, there's a break to the upside, whatever. So it's created
Yeah,
conditions. But if this trend line wasn't here, I would still consider getting in because it's filled an imbalance. Obviously, I just mark that now. This is the one that causes a break to the upside. If, like I say, if the liquidity wasn't there, or wasn't taken, there's still an option to actually get in based off no liquidity being taken, but structure's right. So the liquidity is not always an essential part of the system to me,
yeah, yeah.
whereas structure always is because obviously if it's a 1 minute break, it's usually like my last confirmation, but it's the last one that's telling me, yeah, we probably want to go in that direction. So
Yeah.
structure's always on my radar, whereas liquidity is not. So that means that structure's more important than liquidity to me. It should be to most, I assume, but obviously everyone trades differently. But yeah, if I can eliminate one thing from how I trade, like I say, it's liquidity, which means it's I don't imagine that the banks are overly bothered by it as well. But it's hearsay and speculation, I guess, because I'll never actually know. So you know, but yeah. Is there any other questions, guys? Because just been waffling, really. No.
No, just trying to keep up.
Hey.
Yeah, just trying to keep up as usual.
Yeah, a lot of words come out of my
Sure.
mouth in this hour, mate. So
It's not you. It's just trying to concentrate on it and keep it all in my brain. Um, Not me. No, no
no,
questions. Thanks.
no. Well, I mean, oh, I've just got someone typing. Wait a sec.
Just it's Alan saying thanks. All good.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'll stay on for another 5-10 minutes anyway. But I just figured if there was, I wanted to ask just in case someone got, oh, what did you mean by this or that or blah blah blah. Um, our old arch nemesis.
Yeah.
um, gain structure. Um, just have a look at this because this is lower low, do you reckon?
Um,
Isn't
I
it?
can't
Pull
help.
back deep.
Pardon? Yeah.
If macroeconomics are going south, then it's definitely going to go down. I can't kind of divorce that from what
Yeah.
it.
Well, obviously the Dix is going down. This looks like it's going down.
Yeah,
Um,
it's basically consumption is going down, then
yeah,
demand for energy goes down.
yeah. The only what have I got marked here? So we've got a possible. Is that a trend line there? Is that accurate enough? No,
You
that's
haven't
off.
magneted it.
No.
Well, you might have magneted it on a lower time frame, Lee.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had this
Uh,
trend line marked for a while, mate. I've not recently marked this. This
yeah.
is, I mean, this will be
Uh,
early on in the
and
year. Yeah, mid.
I don't think that counts as a. There's no middle touch to my eye on
No,
that.
no.
They're
That's
too
fair.
close. The ends are
Yeah,
too close.
that's
Yeah.
fair, mate. It's fair. Um, yeah, I was just thinking is if that was a trend line, there'd be a pullback, sweep, and possible break to the upside. But that is internal as far as I can. Maybe. We could technically confusing it here, but I'm assuming our price of petrol still won't go down anyway, even if this goes down.
No, no.
But I think this has technically.
How are they going to pay for their losses, mate? If they
Is
drop the
it?
price of petrol,
Yeah,
someone's got to pay for their loss.
yeah, definitely.
Now I was going to ask you, Lee.
Yes, mate.
Like on lower time frames, like 5 minutes and that, like you
Yeah.
never count like wicks as being like a change of structure or break of structure. But what sort of time frame do you start saying that there possibly could be the break of structure?
So I I mainly work to the 4 hour, the 15, and the 1 minute. 4 hour, 15 minute, 1 minute, not 15 hour. Um, so I used to not count wicks as a structure break. Um, but I do now. So um,
At what time level?
what any mate if obviously
Really?
yeah. So obviously because nowadays I count wicks as structure because um even if a wick's above a high, then price has been there. Like it's been there. That's it. So it's probably filled an imbalance or taken liquidity or done whatever it wanted to come for. So and there's evidence and data that price had been there. So technically it counts. Um, but in regards to a structure, so I mean this is the hard part about structure. I think it's the actual. I imagine it's what most struggle with is so. I mean, I'm going to struggle to find an actual uh, scenario to show you, but what it does, what it does after it takes the, if say if it wicks a high and then obviously it don't body close, but it wicks. Technically, it's a change of character as long as previous structure is the right way. Um, But what it does next is what actually counts in structure. So it could wick the high and then wick the low, which means that I'm going to struggle to explain this without an example, but it could the wicking of if it's bullish and it wicks a high, that could just be you could technically just move the high over to the new wick high, depending on what it's done in that time between the original high and the current new wick high. So, um, yeah, what it does next is what actually counts in structure. So when we're looking at structures, sometimes there's an element of uh, prediction because, which is why obviously I often say is if we're looking for a 4 hour move, you want the 15 minute to give a break of structure. And then when it comes back, obviously you would anticipate, and it'll like I say, a 1 minute break once it's down in the area that caused the 15 minute.
Yeah.
So you're sort of anticipating that the next swing is going to be a 15 minute new higher
Actually,
high
it's
sort
got
of
to be
thing.
it's got to be in context.
Yes, yeah. Like there is a little bit of prediction, but yeah, it's
What you know is always a leg behind, isn't it?
yes, yeah. So what's like with this one that I've just drawn, like I've drawn this pullback
We
here,
we just
like
don't know yet.
yeah, but that the pullback might come down here, or it
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
because what let's say this is the let's say this is the overall low and it goes and makes a new high. Like this leg wouldn't be confirmed until it starts to pull back. So you're always a leg behind. So this is still the live leg at the
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Like what it's doing here is we're at what we would anticipate is obviously we are bearish. Let's say it is going to make a new lower low. But if there was a change of character, if it was this, so like if this structure was right and that is a little pullback, then we've maybe had a change of character here. So we're anticipating that somewhere around here would be a new low, a new higher low, but we've been making lower lows.
So you'd just be hunting that area to see if there would be anything it could react to.
Yes, so there's I mean we're on the somehow some reason on the 3 hour, but there's a market open gap here. So I imagine price is definitely going to fill that. And this is what I mean when I say like put in liquidity and things around your structure. So
Value below it.
yeah, so we've possibly got equal lows here,
Yeah.
maybe in a trend line.
No,
Yeah. So 4 hour, we've maybe had the change of character. I'm not too convinced. It does technically meet the rules because obviously this is the low. I draw a low level line from there. It does technically take it, pulls back. So we've maybe had a change of character. It's not the best though. So, but we've had, like I say, liquidity, a bit of a sweep, and then this is possibly the order block that causes the change of character up here. So, um, change of character. That's possibly the order block that caused it. What I'd want to see now is if price comes into this order block, like I say, there's a market open gap, so imbalance is not going to really be visible. It might be, but it's unlikely because there's price missing. But missing price is considered imbalance as far as I know and can tell. Um, so obviously we're on the 3 hour at the minute, but what I would want to see is I want to see price come in here, effectively make a high on the 1 minute, come into there, fill whatever it needs to fill, 1 minute break to the upside, hit an entry zone, continue. Yeah.
yeah.
But like I say, we're on the red's the 4 hour structure. I'd want to see, like I say, a good 1 minute break. Ideally, we'd see a 15-minute break first if you could be patient, because if this does if price does this at that point, we've got 4 hour. Let me just write this out. So if it does this, I'll just draw this here. We've got the 4 hour. Where are my arrows? I'll write up. We'd still have the 15-minute bearish, so down. And then obviously, because I've just drawn it on the screen, that would be the 1 minute up. So that's it if this plays out and then it's right. But what will happen is if this is the 15-minute high here, which I think it is, yeah, so we've got a low, high. See if it comes in and touches it. So 15-minute high here. I'll just draw the 15-minute structure quick. 15-minute high, 15-minute low. So obviously, then I'd anticipate making a new 15-minute high. And what it will do then is it will pull back after it takes the high. It might not do it there, but it might come higher. It might do it just
Yeah.
after taking it. But then I would anticipate it pulling back. And again, I'd want to see from somewhere in,
1 minute.
I'd want to see a 1 minute break again. So let's
Yeah.
say if it does that, 1 minute break. And then the second move, so I'll change that color to orange. I'll change that to green because that's what color the zigzag is. And then this move, that one there would be 4 hour up, 15-minute up, 1 minute up. Yeah,
Time frame alignment.
so everything's in alignment. This is
Yeah.
this this is obviously it's the earliest, most aggressive move, but there's note to say that it doesn't make if you get in on this one. Sorry, I'll change that color one sec. There's note to say that this one doesn't just make this structure so it comes down, it mitigates something up here, doesn't take the high, and then makes a new 15-minute low. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you do that and you get a 15-minute break, you have to wait longer, but you get a better confirmation, and then
That's why patience is your best weapon, isn't
this,
it?
yes, mate, and that's where real money's made, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
um, and then obviously if you get the 50-minute break, then there's a good chance you're going to test the 4 hour high. So the first move is risky. It might just make a new lower 15-minute high and then make a new lower low. You might get 20 hours, something like that, as a random example. But if you get the second more patient one, you might get, I don't know what the pips are on.
Yeah, I find if you get a good 15-minute breakdown, then like quite often
Yeah.
it's a major swing point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. And obviously, like you say, if you catch the 4 hour, because it might make a new 4 hour higher high, lower
Yeah,
high, and then take the 4 hour low. It might do, like I say, not take the high and make a new low, but you've caught.
yeah,
I mean, that was nearly 1100 pips on. Could possibly be like 1100 pip move, whereas this one might be whatever it is, 300. 400. So
yeah.
by that waiting, and you get an extra confirmation, but there's also a chance you might miss the second move, and so yeah, it's I don't think there's
Yeah,
any.
don't need many of them trades to make money.
No, 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 definitely not. No, no, no. It's like I mean, is I've got markups from over here, mate. Like possibly big moves. Right. I mean, just to the lows, 122, but obviously it's downtrending at that point. Was it? Yeah, it's downtrending. You until you start seeing major breaks to the upside, you could have maybe held that. You only need one of them a year. Let's be honest. There's one trade.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I mean that's yeah, a while back now. Yeah, been a long hold, but I think structure is best used for, and this is how I come up with my 4-15-1 strategies because um, effectively you are able to find swing moves, but on day trade entries. So yeah, I think obviously that's why I made the 4-15-1 because I wanted.
That's the holy grail. It's a
It's
low
yeah,
time frame entry on a high time frame move.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like it's something we should all really be
yeah.
aiming for. I think I'm not going to blow my own trumpet here too much, but but like as far as I'm concerned, if you're risking less, you're not putting. And when I say risking less, I mean you're not putting 10 trades on a week. If you can risk one trade a month and you can earn, let's say you can do 100 hour a month quite comfortably, to be fair, um, over 30 odd K.
5% of 100K.
Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, if that's your own capital as well, like because on a prop firm, obviously you're tempted to trade more and whatever,
Yeah.
but and less likely to get paid out with such big numbers, I guess. But with a self-funded, like I say, if you can risk once and you can catch pretty much
Yeah.
like you can pretty much double your account off 1% risk if you catch and wait for the right move.
It's
Like
seriously good investment.
yeah, like it's what one risk, 1% risk to gain 100 possible 100 back. Like as far as I was concerned, and that's why I made and found this strategy was because I wanted to risk less. I didn't want to be looking at charts all day every day because the idea was to not be not replace my job with another job as such. So
Yeah. To get yourself a bit of freedom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I say, if you can hold a swing move and but catch a 3 pip
Right.
1 minute
Yeah.
entry, you are laughing.
Yeah.
But
That's what it's all about. I was out in Italy a month ago, and I was just messing around and the ground in like I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And I thought,
Yeah, yeah,
well, this is what it's about, isn't it? Traveling,
yeah, yeah,
being where you want, and you can earn money at the same time,
yeah,
especially
definitely.
like being self-employed people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, I'm gonna. Unless there's any more questions, I'm gonna call it there, guys.
That was good. Last 10 minutes, actually.
Yeah, no worries, boys. I'll get this uploaded tonight, and yeah, I'll speak
Good
to
to
you all
hear
in the
from Rob as
week.
well.
Thank you very much, Lee. That was very good.
No worries. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Appreciate
Tell
it,
mate.
guys. Thank you.